You know that feeling when you're in a huge video game world and all the characters in the background just kind of look the same? Well, today we're digging into a new AI tool called GitCast, and its whole mission is to fix that. To take character creation from these generic cookie cutter templates to something, well, something real.
And this is its big promise, right here. GitCast wants to inject a deep, genuine cultural identity into the characters we see everywhere, in games, movies, you name it. But that's a really ambitious goal. It makes you wonder, right? How on earth do you actually code culture?
All right, so here's the game plan for this explainer. We'll kick things off with this problem of digital sameness. Then we'll dive right into the cultural engine, what it is, how it works. And we'll wrap up by looking at what this could all mean for the future of characters on our screens. Let's get into it.
Okay, so first up, let's talk about a problem that you've probably felt, even if you couldn't quite name it. It's that subtle but really nagging feeling of digital sameness we get from our media. I mean, think about it, right? If you're building a massive project, it's just so much easier and faster to use familiar, kind of generic character types. And what happens? You end up with a digital world that's, well, not very diverse. Or even worse, it leans on these old, tired stereotypes. Making authentic, culturally specific characters on a large scale has always been a huge hurdle. Maybe? Until now. So, that's the problem. How do you even begin to fix something that big? Well, that brings us right to the solution being proposed here, this really powerful new tool they're calling the cultural engine. So what is GitCast, really? At its core, it's an AI pipeline, and it's built to do one job and do it really, really well. Make characters that feel real. And they feel real because they're based on deep cultural data. We're not just talking about surface-level stuff here. It's designed to go way deeper, using something it calls a cultural intelligence core.
Okay, so that's the what. But the really crucial part is the how. How does this thing actually work under the hood? Let's take a look at the two big pillars that make this whole engine run and, give its characters that feeling of authenticity.
The way they've structured this is pretty fascinating. It's basically built on two key parts. On one side, you've got what they call the why. That's the cultural intelligence core. You can think of it as the brain, just this huge database of cultural knowledge. And then on the other side, you've got the how. These are the actual tools that a creator gets to use to bring all that knowledge to life. And just look at how deep this cultural core goes. This is not just some list of names or clothing styles. No way. We are talking about complete, in-depth profiles for cultures like Yoruba, Igbo, and Hausa. It includes stuff like phonetic systems for accurate speech, incredibly detailed physical traits, and even traditional knowledge like gestures and values. It's the whole shebang. So all that super deep data then gets translated into a toolkit that's actually practical for a creator. A user can go in and define everything from specific physical traits and voice patterns to these really cool, unique personality archetypes like the Oga, the leader, or the Alawade, the matriarch. It really lets you create these nuanced characters that are guided by real, authentic cultural touchstones. And this is where it gets super practical. See, GitCast isn't just a cool idea generator. It's built for actual production pipelines. It can spit out ready-to-use prompts for visual AI like Midjourney, phonetic guides for TTS engines, and even full-on data files that plug straight into game engines like Unity or Unreal. It's basically handing developers a ready-made character profile on a platter. Okay, so what does this actually look like when you're using it? How does a creator go from, a totally blank slate to a finished character? Let's walk through it. The whole thing is broken down into 5 really simple steps. First, you pick a culture. Then you set up the basics, gender, age, that kind of thing. Step 3, you hit generate. 4, you export all that production-ready data we just talked about. And 5, you save it to your gallery. That's it. It's clearly designed to be super intuitive and really fast. Oh, and here's a feature that's an absolute game changer for anyone on a tight deadline: batch generation. You can create a whole group, up to 10 different culturally grounded characters, all at once. This is perfect for, say, populating an entire village in a game or filling out a background scene in a movie. And you can do it in a tiny fraction of the time it would normally take. Now, it's important to know this isn't just some cool tech demo. GitCast has a really clear and, honestly, pretty ambitious plan to turn this from a working tool into a full-blown commercial product. And they've laid it out in a 12-week sprint. And this roadmap is aggressive. I mean, weeks 1 and 2, expand the database with more cultures. Then build out APIs, which are basically bridges that let other software talk to GitCast.
After that, they launch subscription tiers. And to top it off, they'll start forming partnerships directly with big players like film studios and game developers. All in 12 weeks.
All right, so we've seen the tech, we've seen the business plan. Let's pull back and ask the big question. What does all of this mean? What's the real, tangible impact a tool like GitCast could have on the stories we all watch and play?
Really, when you boil it all down, the goal here is to finally break that cycle of digital sameness we talked about. By making this kind of deep cultural authenticity not just possible, but actually easy to use, it empowers creators. It gives them the tools to build worlds that are richer, more representative, and frankly, just more interesting for all of us.
So what we could be looking at here is a brand new standard for what a digital character even is. It's a foundation that's built on more than just clever code. It's built on a real respect for and a deep integration of human culture itself. And that leaves us with a really powerful thought to end on. When the actual tools we use to create stories are built to be more inclusive and authentic, well, it doesn't just change the faces we see on screen. It has the potential to fundamentally reshape the kinds of stories we tell in the first place. What new narratives suddenly become possible? Now that's an exciting question.